Hey, Shalom Akim, Yabashim Yabashai, Barakatham, Basham Kwakwadash, Bram Nasha DC Camp with a brief video to edify the sincere Akim, doing the work of Yabashim Yabashai with all diligence of mind and sincerity in the spirit of Yabashim Yabashai. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone who rule well. So as you can see, man, the title of the video that I'm trying to, go into, talks about the protests of these postal workers, and the struggle against privatization, because that's exactly what Esau is all about, man. Privatization of education, healthcare, his military, you know, not talking about privatization of the U.S. Postal Service. So I'll play the video. You have a sense of what's going on, because Esau needs to privatize his society so things could go according to his plan, because he wants less power in the hands of the people. Doesn't want his so-called idea of democracy. He'd rather have, a ruling class. That's exactly what he's after. To rule an oligarchy.
Not for sale. Not for sale. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail. Not for sale. Not for sale. Not for sale. Not for sale. Not for sale.
Yeah, so the whole idea, man, behind Esau's privatization is to, divert those funds, man, into private hands. Because the postal service is a lucrative business, and if that uh, uh, service can be privatized, that means all that money from the masses will be going to the hands of these corporations, man. So it's gonna be a struggle, because the folks, they have a union, but at the same time, they see exactly what's going on, because the folks that have infiltrated the U.S. Postal Service that sit in those top positions, they've been trying to, turn the place inside out, and then you got to force the Postal Service to pay for pensions or retirement benefits, decades in advance, making them, pay for, make them pay for something that's not really needed at this point in time. Yeah, so the service makes a profit, but at the same time, Esau wants that money to come. Because whoever controls the money, basically runs the way things are. Or controls the economy. All right, so it's gonna be a messed up struggle. By the end of the day, man, Esau's gonna destroy, his society. That's the curse that the Most High has put upon Esau, man. He's built to self-destruct. So I'll play this video, and I get some precepts, and I get another video that goes in depth, so shows you systematically how the elites want to destroy, these institutions that the public have a vested interest in.
Not for sale. Not for sale. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail. U.S. Mail.
Yep, so I'm going to get this precept real quick from the book of Sirach. Let's see, chapter. Let's see if I can find the chapter real quick. All right. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 14, and I'm going to look at verse 5. So it says, "He that is evil to himself, to whom shall he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods." So that's exactly what's going on with Esau, man. He's basically destroying his house, making it difficult for people to have a living standard that's that's appropriate, to take care of their daily needs. It keeps on cutting wages here and there, cutting benefits, talking about privatizing, social security, raising the retirement age, you know, sending corporations overseas. So this is all the agenda of Esau, man. He needs to deindustrialize places where he thinks he can have a firm foothold. He needs to destroy people's livelihood in order for himself to feel empowered. So that's exactly the way the elites think. They have to transfer power from the masses to themselves, and they have to do it by any means necessary. So once the unemployment is increasing, that means that they could, pull the people into any direction they want them to, because the postal service has different, services that it provides, man. Packages and cashiers check whatever. And then you also have the postal police, you know, and businesses that rely on the postal service. So you can imagine what's gonna happen when the postal service is not really around. You gotta go on to these private corporations that have a different agenda. So it's gonna be so messed up here in Babylon. Once all these you know things that people always like to put their focus on start to crumble, then you see their true nature without without a proper without a proper foundation. All right, they're gonna lose it, you know. And then you hear about people's pension being cut. All right, so it's gonna be terrible. All right, so the elites, that's why they have so much protection. They have their own private security that goes around with them. You know, and they have their own detail. That's where the Mossad let it be. But at the same time, it's only for a brief moment. You know. And then I look at verse 9. It says, "A covetous man's eyes is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked dried up his soul." So Esau, man, these elite Edomites, they want more and more for themselves, man. The more they squeeze the people, the more, the more resources they control. It's all about control. They need control over these people because they say they're tired of seeing people, want to have a independent, mindset. They're tired of seeing people want to start their own business and provide a different type of service. People that want to be outside the box. So they don't want that, man. They want folks to be slaves perpetually. All right. So it's gonna be so messed up, man, when this economy collapses. It's gonna be so rough, you know, and then they're gonna unleash, their true nature upon these people. They're gonna declare martial law. So how's martial law is gonna be total, total control, total lockdown. Businesses will have to shut down. You know, it's gonna be so messed up. So I found another video to pull up just to show you how messed up. All right, so this is a better video. Gives
Hey! Ho, ho, ho! Boston Staples got to go! Hey!
this from 2014. So let you know exactly what these elites are up to when it concerns the will of the people.
Hey! Ho, ho! Boston Staples got to go!
Gonzalez, Western Region Coordinator of the American Postal Workers Union. Basically, we're here to protect what we see the exposure of the security and sanctity of mail. It's being basically contracted out. Post offices are being contracted and postal services contracted out. We think it should be serviced by the public servants who have sworn to protect the mails and provide quality service.
You think it's irresponsible to put these clerks in charge of the mail that here are not trained as postal workers?
Well, let me tell you, we have nothing against staple workers per se, but what we're concerned about is that these employees have minimum training, and there's no provisions that we know of for the security of the mails. Public servants, the post office workers, are trained, pass examinations, and under multiple laws to ensure the privacy and the protection of the mails.
So you're saying that's in question by putting it out to companies like Staples?
We're concerned, but of course there's very little.
And that's one thing Esau's trying to do, man. He's trying to get people off his books, because by the time the privatization of the postal service, that means the federal government will no longer be liable for these people's retirements and social security, because they don't have to depend. I mean, they don't want those people to be on their payroll, man. They want to have more control, because America is in debt. But at the same time, they want more control. They don't want more federal workers. They want people with less federal protection.
Transparency about the actual contract here, so we really don't know what's going on. All we know is that the American public deserves the best possible postal service. Why not increase the services at the post office? Why don't you increase those hours? Why don't you fully staff? Why don't you put the vending machines back so that you can buy stamps and won't have to stand in line? Why is that? We think it's to privatize the post office. That's our concern.
Is it true there was a no-bid contract on this Staples deal?
That is our understanding.
What's going on with that?
Well, that's our understanding, and we're trying to find out. Post office is being very, very secretive about what kind of contract and all the particulars, how the money's being made.
Yeah, and that's how it is, man. We start moving all these services from the postal service to Staples, and then you start seeing, mergers between Staples and Office Depot, and then you never know what was going to happen. Another corporation buys up that corporation, then the other corporation gets sold to another corporation. Before you know it, it all gets tied into one huge corporation. So that's exactly the way things turn out, man. It's like, the big fish swallow the small fish, and the bigger fish swallows the other big fish. So that's how Esau consolidates, mergers. And then you hear about CVS, this CVS Health buying up some other corporation, So it's all about more control, man, more power.
This is not for the convenience of the American public. It's actually for the profit of the store, so that it builds traffic. If you want to give service to the American public, properly staff the post offices and enhance those hours.
So are you saying that they've taken vending machines out of post offices at the same time they're closing post offices and setting up Staples?
You won't find one vending machine at a post office. And if you look around the neighborhoods, they've taken away the collection boxes too. So they've made it very, very difficult for the American public to be serviced by the United States Postal Service, and all, we believe, as in a bid to try to privatize our services.
And privatization, you think that's really what's driving the Staples business arrangement?
Well, I'm not sure what's actually driving Staples business arrangements. All I know is it's not for the service of the American public. It's the people's post office. The post office preceded the country. It has bound the country, and here they are trying to dismantle it piece by piece in efforts like this.
Do you think this is connected to the attack on public workers, public services around the country? I mean, trying to privatize other public services?
If you connect the dots, it all relates. It all relates. Public servants, public civil servants are Americans too. We provide the services, but we also use the services. And yes, what's wrong with fighting for everybody's wages to become a living wage? And that's what we're after. And yes, we believe we're under attack. Most workers in this country are under attack.
Now, Congressman Isa, who has been pushing this in Congress, what's behind it?
Surely don't see him as a proponent of public services. He might say what he wants to say, but in fact, if you look at his bills, even his proposed bill right now that would allow the Postal Service to close post offices within 2 miles of any contract station like this one, with no right of appeal by the community. That's what he's after. He's after cluster box delivery. He wants people to pay for the delivery of the mail. All that is ridiculous. All that undermines the United States Postal Service. It's the United States Postal Service, America's post office.
Yep. So that's it's gonna get messed up. If that's if it happens, well, it's gonna happen regardless whether they close the post office or not, man. Because when the economy collapses totally, it's gonna be so messed up, man. You know, and then martial law gets declared. You know, folks won't be able to move around like they need to move. All right. So I get another precept here. I use a blue letter. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that you cannot ignore, man. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 73. You start from verse 7. It says, this is concerning the elite. It says, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. All right. So they put all this legislation in place to make the postal service, go into the negative. And then when things start to get better, they want to start to cut, you know, services here and there, close down post office, and then folks in the rural areas can receive any service. And then you ask yourself, what exactly are they trying to do? It's a struggle for power, man. They got to get a piece of the pie. They want less for the people and more for themselves. But that's all it boils down to with the elites, man. They're not really concerned with the welfare of the people. All they care about is whatever is good for their own personal gain, their own personal interest. That's why they pay so much money to push these elections in a certain direction, so that way they could have more power and they have more dominion. They want their dominion to go on and on and on, to go on forever. That's why they put these candidates in office, all right? And then you understand that elections are no joke. They have they say it's an illusion, you know, but at the same time, it's the reason why it's an illusion. It's because the folks sitting at the table, they've already rigged it, right? The folks that are voting do not understand that the folks that they're voting for, they're just Trojan horses. A grown ass man, a grown ass woman, it's a puppet. They're like, how the hell did that happen? But hey, that's the reason why they were put up front as a candidate, so they could do the will of these elites. All right. So I'm gonna get one last precept. This is gonna be the book of Ecclesiastes. If you look at verse 4. All right. When the economy collapses, when there's martial law, it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So all those good times of a happy hour, concerts, going down to the county fair, you know, all that is going down the drain, man. It's gonna be a time of despair, a time of great sadness. Folks are not gonna understand why the hell it happened, but only the elect will understand. So I just say, I can just gotta be faithful in the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, cause the grinding is gonna become so messed up, man. And unemployment is gonna skyrocket. Cause right now they're talking about, things are kind of affordable, but when things cannot be acquired, you can't get the products. That's gonna be a trial of one's fate, man. So the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is gonna provide, but at the same time, it's not gonna be easy for the folks around Akim, man. It's gonna be so messed up. The neighborhood will be hearing all kinds of madness, glasses being broken, you know, people's homes being ransacked, gunshots going off, the EMT crew can't go in because they don't have backup, There's no police presence to secure the area for them to do their job. It's gonna be so messed up. Folks can't make it to the emergency room on time because hey, there's no fuel in the vehicles, man. Folks can't get to the gas station because it's not safe. So folks are gonna be able to think upon their feet, how to provide basic first aid skills, maternity delivery on the spot in their homes. A lot of children will be born at home. Yeah, it's gonna be so rough, man. So rough. Yep. So, Ka Halal Yahaba Hashem Yahushua Hashem Rakwakwadash, double honors and salutations, elders and apostles of Global Stone who rule well. So as you can see, I can, man, once the folks are cornered, all they gotta do is depend on the government, man. That's exactly what they're looking forward to. Trying to force people back into being dependent. Yep. So that way they could just move them up into the concentration camp, get them all chipped up. So that way the elites will have more control. So I can, fight the good fight of faith. Don't let Esau's tactics, get you upset and you lose your mind. You can't afford to have that happen. So just pray that the Lord Yahweh Shai strengthens your resolve to move on. Shalom.